Hello, this is Chris Pratt from Eurogamer, back again with Friends of Britannia. I've brought along James from Creative Assembly. How's it going, James?
It's going pretty well. It's been a good event in a castle.
Yeah.
Snow everywhere. It's been a bit of a difficult one getting to and soon leaving.
Yeah, a
There's
little
the
bit.
snowpocalypse out there.
But we're safe here. Well, I say we're safe. We're just jumping into a sort of mid-game campaign. Is this turn 50 something?
Yeah, 50 turns in.
Yeah, we're playing as the faction of Northymbre here, which means that it looks like we're doing really well. It looks like we've got a huge, massive chunk of Great Britain there. We're strength ranking 1. I'd feel like this was a really good campaign, except for these numbers up here. Can you tell me why that's bad?
Yes, so this is one of the missions you get, which is the King's Army. So you can see this bar right now, which is firmly in the red.
Yes,
so you
get any
have
more
kind of two choices. You can be more supportive of your army and more supportive of your population. And that has a lot to do with the fact that you're a settling power, you're a conquering power. You've conquered Northymbre, which is where this faction starts. So you get two choices. You can either, support your army and try and have that balancing act, which is more, the troops from Scandinavia, or you can focus on trying to make the people that you're occupying more happy. So there's a good balance between the two things there. And in this case, they're both in the red.
Yeah, so the issue with my army being that far in the red is that, it's just everything's got a lot more expensive to begin with.
Yes.
And also, I've noticed that I've had a little look at this save file before, and I'm not crazy about some of the how influential some of my other generals are getting. And basically,
yes.
I feel like we're in an amazing position, and we're very close to losing all of it.
Yeah. So if you bring up the diplomacy screen.
Yep.
So your faction started off as Northymbre, and as you conquered the territory required, you then evolve. This is the first time we've ever done this in a Total War game, where your kingdom changes. And now you're Danelaw, which is kind of what the Saxons call just the whole swathe of conquered territory from the Vikings. So you have become Danelaw. If you continue to keep playing and you conquer a good chunk of England, you could either be the Great North Sea Empire, or you could, if you're playing Anglo-Saxons, you'd become England. If you're playing as the mid-faction over in Ireland, they would be able to become the Irish, and same up in Scotland as well. So it gives you a feeling of your kingdoms evolving as time. And as you can see, we've already evolved into the Danelaw, which is that fearsome name given to just land conquered.
I guess the whole point of this saga is that the idea of the kingdoms are quite sort of fluid in nature, and powers changing even within this small era very, very quickly.
It's your proto-kingdom. You're what would become, England or Scotland or Ireland, and you can progress and see that through your campaign, depending on how you play it.
Speaking of the campaign itself, this one, I believe, so a short kingdom victory has actually already been achieved in this save file that we're jumping into. This is sort of like trying to play past that to reach potentially long kingdom victory, and then once you've reached one of these long victories, is that when you have a shot at the ultimate? Is that right?
So yeah, if you complete your long victory conditions, obviously there's lots of different ways to play the game. So if you think of other strategy games, some they've got that idea of going wide or going short. You can either expand your empire and conquer everything, or you could turtle up in an extent and focus on a few other stuff. And that's what we have with like the fame victories and so forth. Obviously you've got kingdom victories here, which is to try and become like Danelaw or England and stuff like that, which is very much focusing on kind of that geographical area which they would eventually conquer.
Yeah. So we would need to defeat 10 factions, I guess we've already defeated a number of them already, but we have to reach a total of 10 to manage that.
And then you move on to the next phase of War that Kingdom. So it gives you different ways to play. Each faction maybe will do better in certain other victory conditions. It's up to you as a player to decide which one you get, but it gives you more variety of options than simply just conquering a set number of territories and the game ending.
Okay, well I guess we're not going to be able to, within this short Let's Play, actually aim for a long campaign victory. I guess one of the things I want to try and address to begin with is the fact that my army hates me right now, and that worries me because I've got a lot of armies, and without them, none of this really works so well. So we're not currently at war with anyone, which is an issue for me, because I think my armies want to be out there sort of sacking settlements. In particular, sacking settlements actually has will bring that bar a little bit back into the green, hopefully. So who do we want to have a scrap with in this Let's Play?
Mercia for sure, and Anglo-Saxons as well to the south.
Oh, the Anglo-Saxons are
So they're down south. They conquered a good chunk of territory. They're Strathrankins too. Alfred the Great is still their faction leader. And you can see Wessex here has evolved into the Anglo-Saxons.
Yep.
So these are the ultimate kind of enemy for you. And they are usually the faction the Vikings would struggle the most with. So them and Mead.
I'll tell you the issue I have with this save file right now is that, so I'm looking at the Anglo-Saxons, strength ranking 2, these are the beneath me, this is the most powerful faction on the map. And I'm like, you know what? Actually, looking at this bar here, I'm quite a bit stronger than them. Maybe I should declare war. And then suddenly you realise they've got a bunch of allies and we've got no one. In fact, we've got no, in this save file, there are no like relationships going on right now. So this is probably, suddenly that bar doesn't look quite as good for us. I feel like I'm going to do something that's a little bit boring here. Sorry, anyone watching. But if I declare war on the Anglo-Saxons, they're going to bring a bunch of allies in. I just don't really know my setup well enough to really do that justice. I think I might go for someone like up here we've got Stracklet. I don't know if I've said that right. And that, so there's reason that it's a bordering nation. They don't really like me a whole lot, but they don't have any allies to worry about, and that might be a slightly easier target. I also noticed that my king's army is right up here in a good position to actually start engaging them, and I will definitely win. So I might do that instead of the Anglo-Saxons, just because I feel like if I declare war on those guys, the rest of this Let's Play is me going to be like, oh my god, there are so many provinces that I haven't got to grips with yet. Yep. So we'll do that instead, I think.
So I think picking and choosing your fights are very important. And as you were looking on the screen there, the idea that you're trading with every nation that you can at this point, it's not something you have to set up and do. It's something that just automatically happens. Yep. You already know every nation that's on the battle map. You don't have to go and discover them or anything, because everyone at this point knows everyone else. It's not a very, even though it's a very large campaign map, it's still a place where everyone knows each other. Look how far. So
you get lost. You know how I said that like my general's army is up here and that's great. Yeah. Everyone else is really quite far away. I don't have enough income just yet to actually start thinking about a new army. However, I should be able to steamroll these guys even with a single force. And I feel like that might give this Let's Play a good sort of just keep the scale down to a manageable size. We've got a really nice army here, a lot of elite axe infantry, couple of really decent melee cavalry, good spear infantry. Like I should do
elite army. It's an elite army. You've got one of the most powerful axe units in the game in the Jarl's housecarls. These are the guys walking around with the massive axes, double-handed axes. These are people when they go in the front line. They don't have as much protection themselves, but they will just chomp their way through shields and so on. They were the really opposing force on the battlefield. This isn't a time of cavalry. This is very much a time of heavy infantry, shield walls, and so forth.
I do wonder, because I've played a lot of Warhammer and Warhammer 2 over the last few years, those have been the big Total War games to focus on, and I do wonder how much of like the sort of the Attila engine and the way that those games worked I will actually still remember. And on top of that, Britannia's got a bunch of its own sort of like unique features to think about. Yeah. We'll see. But for now, this seems to be going all right. This is a minor settlement that is part of, I think that's the overarching capital of this area. Is that right?
South. It's one of those.
Yes, sorry, you're right. So I can actually sack that without any concerns. And yes.
Yeah, you got the event message.
Oh God, it's like a drop of water in a...
Would that put you up 17 points in that straight away, just off battle alone? So, and your war fervor is really, really high right now. If you, it's at +3.
Yeah, so, that's really good.
That's ridiculous. But you see, you're losing influence because of it. Because you're not at war, and you've only just got it, you're starting to lose influence. So other commanders and other provincial leaders are looking at that like, I'm actually more influential right now.
How bad can that get? So is that actual like civil war straight down the middle, like a faction torn apart, or how kind of
it's devastating.
Can it be? Right.
If people, and I've seen some playthroughs where people have lost their king very early on, and say the heir apparent is underage and can't take over, then you end up in a situation where everyone basically, their loyalty drops away, they're not interested in listening to someone that can't basically control.
Speaking of which,
kingdom.
I've just had a
they're coming
minor
into
settlement
by
attack.
sea quite heavy.
So we'll just crack on.
And in the theme of what's going on in real life right now, you're
attrition.
marching in the snow and taking attrition.
This has gone terribly wrong already.
And they're already bringing another army by sea as well.
Yeah, thankfully their armies are so. I've really done a terrible job of that. Thankfully their armies are so. Even though this one's like got 18 units in it, the quality of their troops is so much lower than mine. But I can just see that I'm going to have to. Yes, I will be anyone's friend at this stage.
Classic Viking.
You're Vikings.
Xenophobic and hates empires.
Then we're
never to be trusted.
That's oh god, great.
Your allies.
I have no friends right now. No one. Okay. So we're going to push forwards. We're going to have to take this back straight away, or should we try and actually? Oh, I don't think I'm quite engaged there. So we'll take the settlement back. We're going to be chasing them around my own provinces here. I can feel it.
This is a thing you end up in a situation where you want your kind of your king's army to be the aggressor, and then you kind of want your secondary army as a kind of garrison to be able to prevent an enemy popping up behind you.
I think I'm going to basically use the fact that I've just earned a bunch of money through sacking to just keep these
put
guys
him in
going.
the settlement and you'll be able to recruit.
And I don't really. It doesn't have to be too good.
I would focus on your spears, just the low quality spears there, and just get lots of them because they're really cheap.
Yeah, that's good.
And you can see at the bar here, it's telling you exactly how much food that's going to cost you so far. It's going to be about. Yeah, so you always want to be a bit careful.
That's fine. I just need something to basically clean up after my general runs around actually doing the damage. So that's fine. That'll work.
So yeah, you do find yourselves in situations where you got your king's army, which is going to go out there with the elite troops. There you go.
All right, this looks like a fight. So we've got, as I said, the quality of their units, quite a lot.
It varies. What's that secondary army like?
Let's see. Also mostly.
So we're dealing with numbers versus quality.
Yeah.
So quantity versus quality.
Oh, and they've got a unit of warhounds. You like to see that? It's good. All right. Yeah, we'll give it a go. And so these guys are just coming off transport ships.
Except from the Sea Viking faction, everyone else takes quite heavy attrition going by sea.
Okay.
So this is also playing into your favour as well.
James, it's been a long time since I thought about combined land-naval battles. It's been a few years, so we'll see how that goes. So that means, if I'm right, so they've got a land army here, and then actually their other army is coming in on the transport ships, is that right?
Yes, that should do. So, obviously...
who's gone and built a bloody settlement in the middle of this battlefield?
Well, that's what you find.
I know.
So it's going to be a... and the enemy will be able to burn those buildings down when they walk through it as well. So you'll be seeing that when they march through it.
Okay.
If they march through it.
All right, so we've got, our ex-infantry here. I don't think they had an awful lot of cavalry to worry about, but we'll just...
And the cavalry do have, this isn't a time period of heavy cavalry.
Yep.
This is the era of sword and shield and, the shield walls and so forth. So you're not going to see too much of cavalry being that effective, but they can still cause nasty surprises. And, that hammer and anvil is the classic way to play a Total War game.
Right, yes, so there's the transport ships. Do we want to just push forwards and try and squash the land army before they arrive? How quickly do you think they're going to be able to disembark?
Well, if you look at the core in your first grouping, these guys are the most powerful axe units in the game. So I think you want to just get them in there and start chopping away his front line, considering most of it is spear units as well.
Yes.
You always want to hit them when they're divided. It's always the best way to do it.
Okay, so you think should we go for the land
Well, even if it doesn't
first?
work, it'll still look fun.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay. Oh, yeah. I think this cavalry is going to be a bit of an issue for us, but we'll crack on and see how it goes. Oh, okay. I actually can't see their entire force, even the land force, so I want to just push forwards a little bit.
Yeah, you can see the mini map on the top right there. It gives you an idea of your line of sight.
Yeah.
Those black spots up there is basically where you can't see anything.
Okay.
Which is usually what you're going to use cavalry for in France, is really good scouting.
Yep.
Maybe not you're throwing them in there like knights or anything, but definitely great for scouting.
Okay. Well, yeah, we'll do that, and we'll push forwards with the cavalry and see if they can see anything first. But we're going to be sprinting ahead before these guys land. Oh yeah. Thankfully, the ships are getting in.
There's troops behind you as well.
Oh well, that's brilliant. That's really good.
Well, at least that means the troops that are in front of you are not going to be too strong.
Yeah.
And it looks like they might be skirmisher cavalry, or they're melee cav. So
They've got...
yeah, scout cav.
Okay.
Oh, that's because they wouldn't be able to be on the ships.
Cool. I
why they'll be out
see.
here.
Right, okay, got you.
That'll give you a good chance.
Okay. So, actually, yeah, this is...
This is going to work out a little bit better for you.
Yeah, I think...
But you are now going to have enemies behind you and in front of you.
Yeah.
And your troops are going to be getting tired from the fighting as well.
Okay, we're going to want to try and do this real quick then. So, get in there. And... oh, I just picked my bloody archers there. I actually think these guys should crumble almost immediately.
They won't last. I mean, they're scout cavalry, you know, the Northern factions aren't really known for their cavalry.
Okay, let's see if we can get my spearmen to just hit those guys. And how are we doing with the old... oh, I did just charge my archers a little bit.
You've only got one unit in there, so I don't think you get much worried. It's only one cavalry unit getting chopped up right now by all the archers.
I just let them in a nice position.
All the axe units, sorry.
Oh, yes, there we go. Oh, please. Oh,
that's their king.
There's the king. So that's actually... we may have just lucked out a little bit here, because this is the king coming in on the naval force.
Yeah, but he's been scouting ahead with his cavalry, so you've got an opportunity here to cut the head off a snake. But at the same time, if you haven't got spears in the right place, it's going to hurt, and that's a big charge into your action.
Oh, that's absolutely going to hurt. But we've got our spears coming in. I don't mind taking the hit if we can get a really easy...
He's gone straight for your commander as well. I just watched him losing about 10 men already.
Yes, oh, that's worked out. Oh, and now we've got cavalry coming in.
And then they're elite cavalry as well, so they're actually quite powerful.
Maybe we should keep... ah, yes, okay. Looks like the king's routing.
Kill him, that'll be a big bonus.
Yeah, I should have actually maybe used my archers to try and mop him up. I really hate dividing my attention like this. This is awful.
I think focus on what's in front of you, so the guys behind, and worry about the naval battle second.
Okay. It looks like they're actually struggling to find landing positions on here. Yeah,
they're taking the long route, or they're trying to just get closer to a lot of their troops. So at least you got the hill behind you. It looks like the commander survived.
Okay. Reposition that here.
You've got your archers there as well.
Yeah, I think we're going to...
they're reforming.
Oh, and then let's actually get our cavalry back in a position where we know what to do with them, because that would be nice.
Yeah, you can see that all the boats are trying to line up to land around
god,
at the same
yeah,
time.
they're landing now. Yeah. I'm not feeling very good about this.
It's okay, you've still got your elite troops there. They're still alive. You didn't manage to kill their commander, but you came very, very close.
Yeah.
Your commander himself is taking a bit of casualties, but he's still in the fight. And your archers, you still got that strong shield wall, and you've still got a lot of elite troops here. So I think you should be more comfortable than you think.
Okay, we'll try and get the spears involved with this cavalry here. So they seem...
oh, straight through that small unit there.
Oh, yeah, not in love with that.
That's speeding through trying to get the archers.
Oh, we've destroyed the retinue
though.
Two of them. Nice. And that should do it.
But look over on the left there.
Yep.
That's all of those troops jumping off the boats now. You're going to have to divide your attention.
Yep, which is always a good thing to do in war, I've heard.
And this is where their advantage in cavalry could actually start to be a bit of a pain, especially if they start finding openings in that shield wall, because you've broken it up now. You're not holding that front line, you're spreading out. And this is where the opportunities for the enemy can be made. I mean, if you look at the balance of power, it's still 50-50, so it's not too bad.
Yeah, but only just... oh, this is going to crush me, actually. I'm really not feeling so great.
Your commander, you forget, his retinue is quite large. He's a very powerful commander.
Yep.
He's going to be your go-to unit and just, stomping anything in front of him. And that's something you can upgrade through your follower system as well.
Yes.
So every time you get a command point, that will increase the size of your retinue.
So so the followers really are the level up mechanic now, aren't they?
Yes. And you can do quite a lot with that.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, you killed the enemy general, so that's going to give you a big bonus.
Yeah, we're actually starting to creep the
get behind you. They managed to get behind you up there.
They're routing... let's not just let them run straight into my archers.
Yeah, they're trying to get around you. And they've still got a lot of skirmishers as well. Yeah, that fight up on the hill is a pretty desperate one, but it seems to be slowly going your way.
Yeah, they did manage to engage one of my units of archers there, which were just going to take the hit on that.
I think, where's your cavalry?
Oh no!
Oh
no,
God!
No.
Where did they come from?
Oh, my cavalry.
Yeah, let's get them back into the fight.
In just doing absolutely nothing over there. Oh, I think I lost them in the chase after that first engagement.
It can easily happen. And then you can just see the
embarrassing.
numbers coming off about. They all landed at the same time, really, so they could all come as a collective group.
Thankfully, this
is your king's army. This is the housecarls. You know, these are the elite of the Viking army. So you've got some of the best troops in the British Isles at this point in that little blob there. But your commander has taken a lot of casualties, and he's very vulnerable to archer fire as well. You know, the big heavy armor, a lot of shields, so it can be quite difficult.
See if we can keep just rolling into them. Did my cavalry manage to push things back there a little bit?
And there's your cavalry coming back in there.
Yes, better late than never. That's good. And we'll just try and keep whittling away at these. We did a really good job of trying to lose all of our ranged units there.
Well, you've taken a lot of casualties in some of more of your elite troops there, but you know, overall, being able to kill the king of the enemy force of the Scots there.
Yeah, that's definitely
one of the Scottish factions.
We've got these guys mostly routing from that side, so how's this going here with the spear infantry?
You've still got some archers up near the coast there, still firing away at you, but in most cases you've got a handle on it, but you've taken a lot of casualties in your elite troops. And these guys, because of the way the recruitment pool works, they take a long time to get them back into the game.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Losing them can be a real pain in for your campaign.
It's a real shame to be wasting my...
Yeah, I think you're bringing your cavalry back to get rid of them is probably the best shout.
Yeah. So if I can actually spare any of them... Any of the cavalry not engaged? No, they're all in
surrounded.
There. Yeah. Oh, and there's a lot of spearmen there. What can we spare?
Yeah, this is a chaotic battle.
Yeah, it's just there was too many fronts. There was too many fronts. I feel really quite bitter about this sort of cat and mouse nonsense over here.
Yeah, it's this kind of you always want to hold your cav in reserve just for chasing
just
down
for doing
skirmishes.
that. Yeah, even
or to use your skirmishes just to shoot theirs.
Can you please just route there? Thankfully, the advance power is still shifting.
Oh man, they're still pushing units through.
Oh.
That's a shot and a half.
Yeah, I'd like it if there were just a few less spearmen in that shot for me.
Well, especially if most of your units are cavalry.
Yeah, I think I'd like that. Okay, well my elite units here coming back in should. And they're routing. That's good. Okay.
Big chain routes now coming in.
Yeah, and that should do it.
At the end.
God, I made hard work of that.
Yeah, your commander's taken a huge chunk of damage, and you got to be very, very careful with your commander in this game. If you lose your king so early on, that has such drastic effects when it comes to your politics and how your other commanders and how your other governors react to that. And I said people today have been losing their kings very early on. Literally, just civil wars start breaking out, and their kingdom crumbles.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's just. My excuse that I'm really gonna focus on here is that I haven't done a combined land naval battle in several Total War games now, and you don't want a close victory on your Let's Play. You want to be decisive every time.
Well, considering how many troops you brought to the battlefield and how many are left remaining.
Yeah, but my troops were so much better.
Well, have a look at the housecarls on your side. Look how many they killed.
Wow.
One unit killed 400 by itself. You know, those housecarls, they're the strongest in the game. So you know they pretty much saved you in that one.
Yeah, absolutely. So I saw in the bar we're worrying about in terms of my army becoming upset with my leadership. I saw that they want me to be sacking settlements and also taking on warriors from battles. Is that right?
I believe so. I mean, obviously that's a great way to replenish your troops.
I mean, it would that is just useful anyway.
Yeah, I mean, they always want the army to be strong. Like I said, there's that dilemma between keeping people happy, but also keeping the army happy as well. And that's dilemmas you'll get through the campaign.
We were only friends for one turn.
Never to be trusted. Hates empires. Classic Viking.
Then why even ask?
We heard about your great victory and didn't like it.
yeah, I think that was about it. Oh, a lot of red up here now.
Yeah, so to raise those armies to try and keep control of the north, you have to dive into your food supply and also into your money supply. But this is something very about the pool system and the mustering system. Sometimes you're going to have to just recruit troops and then disband them when you don't need them all. That is very much of that time period. They would muster troops for the summer and disband them whenever either they need the crops or the threat had passed.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at the replenishment rate on this.
They're going to be slow.
Okay, they're in a minor settlement, and it's going to take 35 turns to replenish them. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, because like I said, these guys are the elite, and you can rely on them to hold and win battles, but you can't rely on them consistently to do it.
Yeah.
And then think of the damage you could take from just attrition alone, and how long that would take you to get these troops back up. So we want you to prize these troops and care about them, use them as they're meant to be, which is the elite shock troops of your army, the vanguard, but at the same time, you can't rely on them to fight every battle for you.
Nice. I mean, I think that mechanic is interesting. It definitely makes me feel like the campaign I'm playing is on a much more condensed time frame. Like, end turn isn't, 6 months or a year.
Yeah.
There's actual real consequence to losing an army, even when you're in such a strong position as this, just because this one is going to take so long to even get back to full fighting strength.
Well, this is because you're a kingdom. You're not an empire. You're not this massive entity which could call upon, hundreds of thousands of troops like the Roman Empire here. The Great Heathen Army, which is just at the beginning of this game, but it's the kind of what sets everything off. The Great Heathen Army was probably no more than between 2,500 to 4,000 troops. So this is one of the first Total War games where you've got the pretty much army sizes of the exact time marching around on this, and obviously with the mustering and the pool system, we do give you the kind of dilemmas that they would have had back in that time period. Yeah. It's really easy to get absorbed in it.
This will just make me feel a little bit better. So yeah, I think I needed to watch that basically.
Axed them right in the heart.
And just that decisive victory. There we go. That's what it's all about. That's how you do Let's Play.
You lost 7 for that one. So much better than the last battle.
It's because I let the computer play it, James. Okay, cool. Well, so as we said, this was actually quite a difficult save file to come into, despite being in such a strong military position. The politics of it all are sort of getting out of hand. What if I was to play this campaign on from this point? How do I salvage it? How do I stop my kingdom from falling apart?
I think mostly just focus on that conquest, maybe having 2 armies in the north, one to be able to defend your settlement, your regions, and one to just go forth and just cause a lot of damage, which is what you're aiming for here. But sometimes looking at your armies in the south, disbanding some troops you don't need and raising some more peasants and farmers in places you need them. This is the kind of way you want it. You want a core of an army in different parts of the region where you might have struggles. So maybe some housecarls here, but not an army of them.
Right.
And then you can, when the panic arises, then you can build some, the peasant troops.
Right.
Just to bulk up that numbers. But you can move because what we want you to feel with the global recruitment stuff is that you're mustering the power of your kingdom wherever you need it.
Right.
Not just magically, but like building it over time. So you want that genesis of your army there. In that vanguard, but you also want to be able to just raise peasants whenever you need to and disband them when you don't.
Armies like the Ravens then, for example, are sort of, they will use them for this war, we'll tidy things up, make sure everything's safe, and then we're not going to need them as much as we'll want to keep as a force like this, because they have the elite units in, and we want to be able to call upon them at any time.
Yeah, I mean, you would call these kind of like the kiss of the axe, This is like the army you're going to send forth and do all the damage, and your secondary force is really there as a holding force to, hold on to the territory you've caught and make sure you don't lose anything more. You always kind of want that 1-2 combination with your armies, and that's how I progress. And maybe I don't have to conquer the North Territories because maybe I don't want to hold them, so just sack them. But you get a lot of gold from that, and you also, you get your army's favour back on your side, which is critical, especially when you don't have as many friends as, say, the Saxons.
I've got no friends, James. I've literally got no friends. I had one friend. One friend, and he was friends with me for exactly 1 turn. It's
classic Viking, as it said.
It's heartbreaking. All right, well, thank you very much for your time and showing us a sort of mid-game save of from Britannia. And I guess next time we look at it, it'll actually be out and a thing that people can play for themselves, and hopefully do a slightly better job when it comes to combined naval land battles. Thank you very much for watching, everyone, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.